Akeem Olufemi Gbajabiamila. God bless you all.
When you are consuming and you are not producing, when you are importing and you are not exporting.
House of Representatives sets up a team-member committee to investigate hike in prices of commodities.
So that at the end of the day, your report cannot be faulted.
And Lawmakers laud proposal for a review of the revenue sharing formula of the country. 1st October 2021, Nigeria turned 61. A happy 61st Independence Anniversary, Nigeria, and many thanks for tuning in again on House Ticket. Lawmakers' reactions as the nation turns 61 makes up part of this package. Their call to Nigerians is to shun ethnicity and sentiment in order to further cultivate the gains of independence achieved 61 years ago. Also in this package, the 9th House promises support to the review of the nation's revenue sharing formula. Other conversations in the week under review focuses on economic sabotage by MDAs, hike in food prices and commodities, diaspora voting, and security. Let's get the details when the program begins shortly. Please stay tuned.
If we set our minds right, embrace each other in love and brotherhood, we will come through these troubling times. We will survive, we will recover, and then we will thrive. One nation under God, free, peaceful, and prosperous.
Thanks for being there. Lawmakers' deliberations in the Green Chamber starts off the program as we review plenary proceedings from 28 September to 30th September 2021. Highlights include a proposal for decontamination centers in all the 36 states of the Federation, even as the debt crisis in the aviation industry was discussed. Other matters include the deteriorating state of the police training colleges in the country. The full details of these deliberations, plus other people-oriented legislations in our first report on the program, as compiled and presented from the studios.
In the week under review, being Tuesday the 28th to Thursday the 30th of September 2021, the House treated several motions under matters of urgent public importance. On Thursday the 30th of September 2021, a motion on the incessant abuse and discharge of 2021 Appropriation Act by ministries, departments and agencies was taken. It was sponsored by the Minority Leader, Ndudi Elumelu.
Now the MDAs, take for instance, a project is in an agency, an MDA. Somebody goes there to say, okay, listen, I heard that 40% has been released across board. And a project that I have in this agency is not being kick-started. And the agency goes on to say, look, we have not received any money from the ministry. And the facts are there that across board, even without tagging, that monies have been released, and yet agency is claiming that they've not released it.
It's misappropriation, it's diversion of public funds, it's criminal. Yes, if you divert those monies to other projects, it's clearly economic sabotage. And we must look thoroughly into this.
The House, in its resolution on the matter, mandated all its standing committees to thoroughly investigate all agencies that supervise and identify the alleged incessant abuse and discharge of the 2021 Appropriation Act by ministries, departments, and agencies. A second resolution mandates the Committees on Finance and Appropriation to liaise with the Ministry of Finance to ascertain all releases made in compliance with the 2021 Appropriation Act. The assignment given the committees are to be carried out within 2 weeks before the presentation of the 2022 national budget by President Muhammadu Buhari.
Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it.
Same Thursday, another matter of urgent public importance was adopted, brought up by Representative Babajimi Benson. It was titled, declaration of bandits and their sponsors as terrorists. The motion urged President Muhammadu Buhari to declare bandits as terrorists.
Such declaration, Mr. Speaker, when given the force of law, will renew the vigor of our military personnel and make them resolute in dealing with the menace of banditry, as the mode of operation and rule of engagement will be scaled up accordingly. Such an order will officially bring the activities of bandits and their sponsors within the purview of the Terrorism Prevention Act. Declaration of all bandits as terrorists may also encourage other countries to do same and help create a global consensus.
The motion was presented on the floor of the House with the support of the 360 lawmakers, as no one said nay to the motion when the question was put.
Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it.
For plenary Wednesday, the 29th of September 2021, yet another matter of urgent public importance taken was the skyrocketing prices of commodities, goods and services across the nation.
The price index in the past months has increased astronomically owing to many controllable and uncontrollable factors, with the inflation rising at about 48-month high, posing the challenge of increased spending on housing, shelter, medicals, clothes, baby food, and even cooking gas of late. Just because our nation's local production still falls short of our local demand, minding our population, the climate change and hunger.
Lawmakers debated the motion.
When you are consuming and you are not producing, when you are importing and you are not exporting, Mr. Speaker, I think what should be looking at is to see how we can increase our internal production to be self-sustainers, even if we cannot export to other countries. So I don't see the need for any committee and any investigation. We all know, let us tell government, the executive arm of government, to provide the right frame for business to thrive so that our people can produce and be self-sustainable.
This government has done a lot of interventions, in terms of interventions in the agri sector. But the issue is whether those interventions have gone to the right people or to the right place is another thing that this motion will look at it and see and bring out the anomalies in it.
We know consumption is a function of income. And if you don't produce, your income is not, you cannot even get any income. That one is known to all of us. It's not that we don't know that there are problems with farmers. It's not that we are not aware that factories are not producing because of lack of electricity. We are aware of all these ones. But there are some problems that when the investigation is carried out, that we are going to get, apart from all this one that is known to all of us.
In its resolution on the matter, the House set up an 18-member ad hoc committee chaired by the Deputy House Leader Peter Akpatason to conduct an investigative hearing with all critical stakeholders in the country, such as captains of industries, trade unions, associations, board of directors, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, and other promoters in the economic sector on ways for drastic reduction in the prices of goods and services in the country that are skyrocketing. The ad hoc committee is to report back to the House in 4 weeks. A bill seeking the establishment of the contamination centers in each of the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria scaled second reading that Wednesday. The centers will be charged with the responsibility of cleaning, disinfecting and sterilizing of medical devices and instruments prior to reuse with a view to preventing transmission of introgenic infection, also called hospital-acquired infection. The bill has been referred to the House Committee on Healthcare Services for further legislative attention. In other motions from the other paper bordering on security matters, there was a motion on the need to investigate the deteriorating condition of Nigerian police training colleges. Lawmaker Ibrahim Zayyad sponsored the motion.
20,000 personnel are expected to be recruited before the end of this year. Cognizant of the effect on the health, morale and productivity of trainees, urgent steps need to be taken in accordance with the provision of Section 9, subsection D, E, and F of the Nigerian Police Act.
The motion had further noted that in September 2019, the Senate had summoned the Minister of Police Affairs over the matter, where the legislature had worried that the deteriorating training infrastructures are not fit and adequate to efficiently accommodate trainees in the magnitude of 20,000 personnel expected to be recruited by the federal government. The House therefore resolved to investigate the deteriorating conditions of the Nigerian police training colleges nationwide through the House Committee on Police Affairs within 2 weeks. Another motion adopted in the other paper was on the need to look into the debt crisis in the aviation industry.
The Honorable Minister of Aviation, Senator Hadi Sirika, had raised concerns over billions of naira debts hold agencies like Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, NAMA, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, and the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, FAN, by airlines operators. They stated that the debt claims and counterclaims as misleading, unprofessional, unethical, and strongly deviate from the tenets of transparency and accountability.
The Committee on Aviation has been mandated to, within 6 weeks, investigate the claim and counterclaims and other related matters to strengthen the records and profile lasting solutions to the debt crisis within the aviation industry. In other news, the All Progressive Congress Party of the House continued to increase in number through the change of parties of lawmakers. In the week in review, Tuesday, the 29th of September 2021, lawmaker Gode Odagboyi Samuel notified the House of leaving the Labour Party and joining the APC.
Welcome back. The program is still House Tickets. We take events outside the Green Chamber on this segment. As the nation marked its 61st independence anniversary on Friday, the 1st of October 2021, lawmakers described Nigeria's journey since 1960 as steady work in progress. They spoke on some of the gains and the lessons learned.
Whoever tells you there is no progress in Nigeria is either being dishonest or is blind. You see, there is a tremendous amount of progress in this country. But we have one fundamental issue. That is tribalism, ethnicity, and dichotomy. This is what is dragging us back. I see myself as Hausa Fulani. Somebody see himself as a Yoruba man. The other one as an Igbo. But this is more with the elites. And it's all we are dichotomizing things in order to divide and rule. Until, of course, Nigerians stood together, then they will not appreciate the program, the progress we have made.
I know today the challenge of the country is insecurity, and we are praying to God to intervene. Because as a government, they are doing their best. If the best is good enough, I cannot tell. But we need God's intervention in our country, Nigeria, so that we return back to the giant of Africa we used to be.
On legislative growth and impact in the nation since independence, lawmakers say the arm of government since then has indeed made progress.
We've gained a synergy between the executive and the legislature. I think now the synergy is increasing. It can never be perfect, because if it is, that means the legislature is not doing its work, because we have to make the executive sometimes uncomfortable so they wake up to their responsibilities. But there's been strengthening of the institutions. We passed the doctrine of necessity, and immediately we brought in an acting president. You can see also recently issues of NSAS and how we intervened, and you can see issues on security. The parliament always, almost every day there's issues on security we talk about, and we ask for service chiefs to be changed, and service chiefs were changed, and we monitor what is happening in the security of this nation daily, and we bring it up on the floor of the House. Without the parliament, the executive wouldn't function well, and most Nigerians would not be happy. People will be living with grievances, and some may take the laws into their hands.
If you flash back, you can see that even the autonomy of the parliament at the federal level is very, very, it is actually a thing that everybody see it as a way to go for this country, for the masses of this nation to be able to agitate for their right, for everything that they're required for. The independence of this nation at the state level, at the federal level, must be independent.
Members have worked tremendously to ensure that they give good and sincere representations to their communities. Without them, you wouldn't even see water, primary school block, good policy making in this country, because the executive are so inclined to work in one direction, and while the legislature work in multidimensional.
Away from the independence celebrations to the Speaker's office, where several delegations visited to discuss pertinent issues, Tuesday, the 29th September 2021, the management of the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission came calling. A review of the revenue sharing formula was the focal point of the visit, where the chairman of the commission said the last review was carried out in 1992 and that there's need for a review now to conform with the modern-day realities and challenges. The visit to the House is therefore a step towards engaging critical stakeholders in the upcoming review of the revenue allocation.
There are some concerns now that we are not that much then, like security concern, like environmental degradations, desertification and erosion and flood. They are all more rampant now. So there is need to look at the sharing formula to make sure that what each tier of government gets is directly in line with the responsibility attached to that tier of government. So the more responsibility you have, the more money you get. And we feel strongly that we cannot get on this without seeking for advice from the National Assembly.
The current sharing ratio, according to the Revenue Sharing Commission, has federal government with 52.68%, out of which 1% goes to the FCT, 0.55% to the Stabilization Fund. Development of Natural Resources takes 1.68%, and Ecological Fund has 1%. For local governments of the nation, 20.60% is allocated, while the take-home for state is 27.72%. As further part of consultations with stakeholders on the review of the National Revenue Sharing Formula, Engineer Elias Mbam further informed the lawmakers that the Commission has also started a nationwide discussion with past presidents, the Governors Forum, the Judiciary, Association of Local Governments, the media and civil society organizations, amongst other interest groups. Public hearings are to be conducted too in states, starting in the Southwest this week. The House welcomed the idea and promised its support.
I can only charge you that your review should be based not on sentiments and not on emotions, but on empirical, verifiable facts, statistics, so that at the end of the day your report cannot be faulted by anyone. I will charge you that you consult very widely, very widely, the principles that you need to have at the back of your mind. Like I said, principles of federalism, the principle of justice and equity, very important. The ideal thing is to have for the top to be lean and then grow the bottom. But we cannot, before we can adjust in any way, we must wait for the constitutional amendment that we're going through right now, because that might shed some weight. The federal government might need to shed some weight, which invariably means that the very revenue for the federal government might need to be pruned.
Other matters discussed between the two stakeholders focused on amendment of the Commissions Act due to the coming into law of the Petroleum Industry Act. The Speaker has therefore asked the Commission to submit areas needing amendment of its principal act, just as he promised the support and partnership of the House in the request by the Commission on autonomy for more efficiency. In another engagement, Thursday, 30th September 2021, the Speaker received the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, on a first-time visit since the establishment of the Commission. The Commission is a product of the Parliament which sought its fusion under the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration. Conversations centered around diaspora voting as well as need for more support for the Commission to discharge its duties efficiently through adequate budget and funding.
Without the Parliament, there would have been no Nigerians in Diaspora Commission. Without the House of Representatives pioneering the issue of Diaspora Committee and passing the bill on Diaspora Commission, we would not be here today. And we believe that in our 2 years of existence, we've been able to justify the reason for setting up a Diaspora Commission. Today we have a diaspora policy which was just recently ratified by the Federal Executive Council. So the policy gives us a short-term, medium-term, and long-term plans to fulfill issues as relates to the diaspora. Mr. Speaker, I'll touch briefly on the issue of diaspora voting. I know you've been very supportive of diaspora voting. We wanted to do 660, but we had to add the plus because we had way over 600. And I'm not talking of, I'm talking of excellent Nigerians. I'm talking of Nigerians who have, taken over whatever field they are into abroad. So we're able to come with this compilation plus 600 diaspora icons at 60. It's going to be a continuous project. As at today, we have maybe almost 100 names already for the next edition. So we just said we should officially present this to you and let you know that NIDCOM will continue to ensure that the reason for the House establishing the Commission will fulfill that.
The Speaker responded to the issue of diaspora voting and the compendium while promising more support of the House for the Commission.
Diaspora voting, which was in the front burner for a long time in Nigeria. I don't know where that is now, but all I know is that it requires a constitutional amendment. This is as simple as ABC. It requires constitutional amendment because the Constitution talks about those who reside in Nigeria. And is there something we can do to up the ante for those who receive, so that we can encourage those who are there so that they can strive to be a part of this club of diasporas? I don't know if that has been done. If that hasn't been done, it's something we should worth thinking about.
The Speaker was afterwards presented with a compendium of the plus 600 patriotic Nigerians who have excelled in their different fields of endeavor. A newsletter and the Nigerian diaspora policy were also presented to the Speaker.
Thank you.
Same Thursday, 30th September 2021, the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria, RITAN, came on a courtesy visit with a proposal for a reform of the road transport sector of the country. The items proposed for reform were presented to the Speaker.
To help the establishment of Transport Development Bank, to help Weber to RTEAN for the importation of commercial vehicles which cannot be assembled in Nigeria or produced. To support RTEAN in this policy to create employment and fill transportation deficit in the country. A compulsory introduction of travelers' accident insurance scheme in all parks and garages across the country.
Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila expressed his admiration for the remarkable leadership style of the association while pledging the support of the House towards developing the road transport sector, just as he urged them to further entrench unity and peace as critical gatekeepers.
We want to see a situation where motor parks are no longer grounds for breeding or perpetrating crimes. That is not what your association should be. You have strength in numbers. The association, we want to see a situation where your association gets to the level of a very respectable level of professionals. And that is what happens everywhere in the world. Yes. You talked about the compulsory introduction of travelers' accident insurance scheme. Again, another brilliant idea, which we will look at. So you see, you're trying to get to the level of developed nations, but if you're trying to do that, we must also conduct ourselves in such a way that we are respected, we're looked at as professionals, we're called to the table where decisions are made.
Here too, presentations were made to the Speaker, including a commendation for legislative excellence.
Thank you very much.
This is where we end this episode of the program. Many thanks for spending your time with us. Let us do this again next time. See you again.